Please welcome to the stage North Carolina Republican Party Chairman.
Good morning, Salt and Light. How are you this morning? You know, I am very proud to be the chairman of the North Carolina Republican Party. I've gotten to do a lot of really great things. I've got to work with a lot of great candidates and a lot of great campaigns, but that is not why I am here today. I'm here today because I am a Christian. I'm a conservative, I'm a husband, and I am a father. Because I care deeply about North Carolina, I care deeply about the United States, and I care deeply about our community here. Because I believe that we need more men and women of faith in the public square. When you look at our politics today, what we lack in politics, and people say, oh, we lack civility. People say, oh, we're too divided. We lack men and women of faith in policy-making decisions, in the legislature, in Congress, in the courts. We need men and women of faith to stand up, and we need to support them when they do. When you think about faith issues and you think about party politics, I work very hard every single day to make sure that the North Carolina Republican Party is going to be the party of faith. We're going to be the party of the faithful. You think about issues like schools and education. Here in North Carolina, 52% of our state budget goes to public schools, K through 12 education. How are those school boards that get that 52% of our state budget spending that money? Think about the educational impacts that we saw just with COVID, with school closures, with mask mandates, with all of the health and mental health implications that having our schools shut down for 2 years have brought upon our kids. Drug use is up. Depression is up. Mental health issues are up. Attempted suicides are up. Successful suicides are up. And yet we see a Democrat Party working with teachers' unions to keep kids out. We see a Democrat Party working with teachers' unions to push transgenderism, to push wokeism, to push things on our kids that we would not have happen in our workplace. 52% of the state budget. You know, we are really fortunate in North Carolina. We have a Chief Justice, Paul Newby, who is a man of tremendous faith. We have a Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson, who is a man of tremendous faith. We have a man in Ted Budd, who is a man of tremendous faith, who's about to step up to the Senate. But we need men and women of faith on our county commissions and on our city councils and on our school boards. Those are the folks that are making the decisions that affect our lives. Now, on the flip side of what we're talking about on education, judges. Elections have consequences. Donald Trump nominated, the Senate confirmed over 300 conservative federal judges during his 4 years, including 3 of them on the United States Supreme Court. Without those decisions, we would still have Roe v. Wade as the law of the land. And thank God it's not. And we have decisions that are coming down every single day from the Supreme Court that are the right decisions. And that doesn't happen if we don't have President Trump making those federal appointments. But here in North Carolina, where 90% of the cases are brought in the state courts, we need a Republican majority on the North Carolina Supreme Court. Look at the decisions that we've seen out of the Supreme Court here in North Carolina. Yeah, we all know they threw out the maps for Congress. We know they threw them out again and again and again, and then they finally drew them themselves. We know they threw out voter ID. But let's talk for a minute about the fact that they threw out educational opportunity scholarships. The fact that the legislature has passed educational opportunity scholarships multiple times, and Governor Cooper has vetoed it, and even when they overrode his veto, the Supreme Court threw it out. This is affecting you, and it's affecting your families. And we were excited last cycle when we went 3 for 3 on the Supreme Court, and we put Paul Newby in as the Chief Justice. But it's not enough. We have 2 seats that are up this cycle. We have got to win those seats. We've got to make sure we have a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Ninety percent of the cases that go on appeal actually go to the Court of Appeals. After last election cycle where we went 5 for 5, we now have a 10-5 Republican majority on that court. This cycle, we've actually got 4 seats up, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. And when we win all 4 of those seats, not if, when, we're gonna have a 12-3 conservative supermajority on the Court of Appeals. But I will tell you this, I pray that I can be an instrument of God. I pray that I can use this platform that I've been given by the voters of North Carolina, by the Republicans of North Carolina, to be an instrument for God. I don't believe the Republican Party should hide from faith. I don't believe that we should push faith out there. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate Ralph Reed, Jason Williams, and the Faith and Freedom Coalition for the tireless work that they do to try and make sure that we have faith in our public square and we have faith as part of our public dialogue. It's absolutely essential, and I will do everything that I can as the chair of the North Carolina Party to embrace these groups, to embrace these conversations, to embrace faith and make sure that we are the party of the faithful. When I look at our state right now, and I look at the values discussions that we're having, and I look at the election cycle that we're having, faith is under assault. It's under assault in Raleigh. We have a governor who absolutely rejects any sense of faith, who rejects opportunity scholarships, rejects opportunities for us to educate our children the way that we need to do it. When you look at Washington, it's worse. You wouldn't think that it could possibly be worse, but look what's happened over the last 18 months. Look what's happened since Joe Biden came into office. We're now actively promoting and paying for groups abroad through the Department of State that are persecuting Christians around the world. How are we not protecting them? We're actively pushing back against Israel, our best ally in the Middle East. We're actively promoting a UN that is doing nothing but going after Israel every single day. We're doing what we can to open up the borders. We've had 4.5 million illegal immigrants come across the border since President Biden took office. But it's not just the illegal immigrants. It's human trafficking. It's fentanyl. Fentanyl is now the leading killer of all Americans 18 to 45. And it's a scourge that we refuse to fight. We've got to make sure that we get guardrails around this White House. We need a Republican House. We need a Republican Senate. We have got to put Nancy Pelosi back to San Francisco where she belongs. So when we think about these election cycles and we think about how are we going to win, how are we going to put men and women of faith in the legislature or on the North Carolina courts or in Congress or in the Senate? We have to have men and women of faith stand up and support those candidates and go vote. The latest numbers I saw that in North Carolina, as many as 50% of evangelical believers are not even registered to vote. You know, I'm very fortunate. I've been doing a series of lunches, pastor lunches with Mark Robinson. He and I have been around the state. We've done 15 of these events over the course of the last 2 years. 3,000 different pastors that we've spoken to. And the message is very simple. First, you should run. You should run, right? I mean, think about our pastors and our preachers. They can speak in public very well. They can herd cats. God knows they can raise money. And they're perfect candidates, right? But even if they're not, they know people within their churches that can stand up and they can run for city council, they can run for county commission, they can run for those county school boards. But secondly, we need them to organize and get their people elected. This is not about Republican versus Democrat. This is about right versus wrong. And so when we get these people in these churches and people like you to go out and vote, I don't worry who you're gonna vote for. I just want you to go vote, right? And every single day that we have that conversation is a day where we are getting closer to victory, not just for Republicans, but victory for faith. And again, I want to go back and I want to thank Jason and Ralph and all of you for what you do here at Salt and Light to be able to support making sure that we get more men and women of faith into office where they can do great things. Thank you very much.